Welcome back everyone to George James & Associates Research Tools channel. In this video, what we're going to do is go back through our categorical variables and we're going to make them regression ready by creating dummy variables for each of the responses. All right, first what we need to do is go back to our response order. This is our anchor column, sort. There we go. And I just want to double check because last time when we left off, we took the log of income. So I just want to make sure that the logs are greater. So 25,000 is greater than 15,000. So this should be greater than this, which it is. And then 100,000, which is greater than these, is 5. Okay, good. 10,000 is 4. Yeah, fantastic. All right, good. And I did make that. Sorry, I'm just making sure. Yep, so it's ready to go because it's in all caps. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. So going back to, and the nice thing is that when you're doing the final step here, is what you can do is you're going to, you don't have to reorder them again. You don't have to do the sorting. I think for the most part, our sorting is done, at least for the first half of the data. So again, here we have industry and then italicized industry, and then we're going to have and then we need to create all the different dummy variables. So this is a bit time consuming, but I'll show you what I mean. So here, what we're going to do then is, okay, really quickly, I want to bring up my questionnaire. And I want to go back to service category and industry. Okay, here we go. So are any of these the same? So there's accounting, management, consulting, IT, financial services, all this other stuff, right? Construction, financial accounting, managerial accounting, finance, bookkeeping. Okay, so because these are similar, so accounting is kind of similar to financial accounting, managerial accounting. I don't want to create any confusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead with I dash for industry and then SC dash, I think, for the variable names. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do I dash accounting. So that is industry accounting, right? And so what is accounting, bookkeeping, etc. was a 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do another conditional if now we're doing it based on numbers. So if this equals a 1, then it's going to result as a 1, otherwise a 0. So this means that once we drag this down, every single time that someone put accounting or bookkeeping, it's going to be a 1. Otherwise, such as unemployed or other, it's going to be a 0. And you can check just briefly that yes, all the accounting and auditing, these are 1s. This is our first dummy variable for the industry variable. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do I dash, we'll do consulting, because there was no other type of consulting in the industry, so in our industry variable. So now what we're going to do, because this was the second one, so if this, remember you have to go back under the industry, don't do it under the accounting, that would be bad. So if this equals a 2, then a 1, otherwise a 0. And now we're going to drag it down. And so this should correlate every time there's a 1. So like this should go management consulting, it should line up, which it does. Because if this is a 2, it becomes a 1, otherwise it becomes a 0. So what we're doing by creating these dummy variables is every single one of these sub-variables under industry is a dummy variable, which means it's a dichotomous variable. It's only 1s and 0s. And you need to do that to avoid multicollinearity, because what we're going to do is we're going to use one of these as a reference category in our regression analysis. And so you keep one of them back to serve as a reference category. You avoid multicollinearity in your model from creeping into your model, and then you're pretty much good to go. So I can create a separate video, or maybe I already have, that talks about that if you don't know. If otherwise, there's a ton of YouTube videos that'll talk about multicollinearity if you don't know what that is. All right, so the third one is going to be IT. So once again, if this equals a 3, then it becomes a 1, otherwise a 0. And we just do this for each one. So is this IT? Yes, it is. So it's a 1. Is this IT? No, it's not. That should be a 0, and it is. Okay, good. Okay, next one is going to be industry dash financial services, or FS. All right, same thing. If this is a 4, then it becomes a 1, otherwise it becomes a 0. And you can see financial services right off the bat. The next row is a 1. Other is a 0, so that's a 0. Yep, and it lines up. Financial services a 1. Unemployed is 0. Yep. So we're good there. Okay, next is going to be construction. Okay, so if industry equals a 5, then it's a 1, otherwise it's a 0. Construction, yes. Accounting is not construction, so it should be a 0, and it is. So it's just good to check. Okay, and then other is the next one. So if industry is a 6, then it becomes a 1, otherwise it becomes a 0. Okay, second row or third row technically with the title is other, so that's a 1. Financial services is not other, it's a 0. It is. All right, let's move over here a little bit. And then lastly is going to be unemployed. Okay. So if industry equals a 7, that becomes a 1, otherwise it becomes a 0. So is this person unemployed that has a 1 here? Yes. Is management consulting unemployed? No, so it should be a 0. And it is. All right. So that is our first, this is our first example of taking a variable such as industry and creating the dummy variables, right? So that now these are regression ready. So what I do then is when I create the next worksheet, I'm going to copy all, among other variables, I'm going to copy all of these in. I'm not going to copy this in because this doesn't help. If you try to run regression with your categorical variable, that even though you transformed it from a character to a number, if you try to run this, you're going to get multiclinear results. Multiclinear results, and that's going to screw up your model. You can't do that, so you've got to do this. And then I'm going to put all of these in there, or you can do it one of two ways. You can put all of them in there and then keep one of them back when we go to the regress it, or you just keep track of which one you kept in the main sheet. So for instance, maybe I keep unemployed, and I just say, well, compared to unemployed people, blah, 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 and so on, right? I'm not sure at this point what I'm going to do because I kind of need to see. And it's helpful what you can do because you actually, you know what, you want to move all of them in there. I misspoke. You want to move all of them in there because for summary statistics purposes, you want to know how many of each of these were in there. And then maybe what we can do is I can take the most numerous one and use that as the reference category and then compare the rest. All right. So now let's do service category. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Okay. So this time I'm just going to create 7 of these. So there should be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. All right. And I mean, we can name them first if you want. So now we're going to do SC. So I'm not going to. Okay. So, or not I. SC. And we're going to do financial accounting. These are a little bit longer variable names than I like. SC managerial accounting. See, these are kind of long. SC finance, SC bookkeeping, SC consulting, and then we're going to have other, and then SC unemployed. Now, again, at some point, right, at some point we've got to combine these. I still think it's probably better to do that in the regression part, because you want to capture as much data in the summary statistics as possible, and that also lets your reviewers know if you're going to publish this. It lets them know, hey, here's the summary statistics breakdown, and then you can see what I did then is I combined them. I collapsed the variables that didn't have very many observation numbers into fewer bins, and they'll understand that because everybody's been through that. So yeah, I would keep them here for the summary statistics. And then once you move from that to regression, that's when you want to jump in. That's when you want to jump in and say, okay, well, I'm gonna start collapsing bins into more palatable. That happened to me several times in my doctoral program with projects where I had to learn the hard way to collapse bins. But that's fine. All right, so for now we're just going to preserve it. Okay, so once again, so if for the financial accounting, if this equals 1, keep it at 1, otherwise 0, right? So financial accounting is the first one. If this equals 2, then 1, otherwise 0. If this equals 3, 1, otherwise 0. And you can start doing this pretty quickly. If equals 4, then 1, otherwise 0. If this equals 5, 1, otherwise 0. If this equals 6, 1, otherwise 0. And then finally, if this equals 7, 1, otherwise 0. And then to save time, we can just manually check a couple, right? So, okay, financial accounting is a 1, so that's a 1, that's a 1. All these other ones that aren't are not 1, so that works, right? Or 0, yeah, 1, 0, 0, 0, and so on. All right, managerial accounting. So if it's managerial accounting, where's managerial accounting? Here we go. 1. Yes, all the rest of them around it are 0 because they're not managerial accounting. Good. Same thing with finance. So we're looking for a finance. This one's finance, so that should be a 1 in that category. Yep. Otherwise, it's a 0. Oh, there was 1 right there. 1. Okay, good. Bookkeeping. So let's go down to 1. Is this bookkeeping? Yes, it is. Is this one bookkeeping? No, it shouldn't be, which it's not. I just went over too far. Consulting. Yep. Other. Yep. And then unemployed. Yep. All right. So that's it. You can see it gets faster. And then just to conserve a little bit of space, some of these we can just collapse them a little bit. There we go. Age is already ready to go. Gender is already ready to go. So now we just need to do race and ethnicity is ready to go because it's, yeah. So we need to do race. Question is, how many of these do we need to do? Race, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Actually, let's say 6, 2. And the last 2. Seriously, make all these it's so annoying. Just getting rid of the italics there. All right, so now we're gonna do, I guess, race. Yeah, race African American, race American Indian, Alaskan Native. Some of these are so long. Race. Actually, you don't even need to do race, I guess, because there's no, like, it's obvious what these are, right? So I don't know why I'm doing that. Yeah, there's no new reason to do the R. So African American, American Indian, Alaskan Native, and then Asian American, Pacific Islander, and then Caucasian, other. Let's see. It's fine. All right. So once again, if race equals 1, then 1, otherwise 0. Is that one African American? Yes, so we're good. If this equals 2, then 1, otherwise 0. We just do the exact same thing we did. If this equals 3, then 1, otherwise 0. And then that's going to be Asian American. Yep, they match up. Good. If this equals 4, 1, otherwise 0. Man, come on. Caucasian, yep. So it's already good because this one's not Caucasian. Correct. If equals 5, 1, otherwise 0. And here we can start collapsing these to create space. And why? I mean, reducing the room, the real estate that they take up. If this equals 6, 1, otherwise 0. And I don't remember, there weren't very many prefer not to says, right? Oh, we got rid of that one, I think, because there was like 1. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's fine. All right, ethnicity is good to go. Marital status. Marital status is the last one that's not good to go. So we're going to do that really quickly. I know we're already getting on to 16 minutes on the video, but marital status. How many of these do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Right, because we still have prefer not to say. I think there was 1. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so how many did I just say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. These are all italicized. I keep forgetting to turn that off. All right, so we're going to do married. If this equals a 1, it stays a 1. Otherwise, it's 0. Good. Widowed. If this equals a 2, it's a 1. Otherwise, it's 0. And then it's just pattern recognition, right? This is going to be if 3, then 1. And then if 4, then 1. If 5, then 1. If 6, then 1. Otherwise, 0. Did I just say this is 3? Divorce is 3, yeah. Check that. Yep, looks good. Separated. If this equals 4. Just going to say single. If this equals 5, then 1 equals 0. Cool. And then, we're not to say. And then I don't remember. There's like 1, I think. Right? Maybe we didn't have 1? I forget. I have to go back and look. I don't. Oh, yeah, there is 1. There we go. 1 single, prefer not to say. Okay, cool. All right. And then education's good to go. Income's good to go. That's it. So we're just coming up upon the 20 coming up on 20 minutes. I know that's a little bit of a long video, but hopefully now you're getting into the groove of being able to clean your data more efficiently. So in the next video, we will start on the second half, which is our actual variables of interest.